Kathleen McEnroe. The leadership, the again, Mary Sotomayor is the leadership coordinator. Kathleen McEnroe is the leadership technology specialist. And our DO is the fabulous Joan Wobnick. And, I just want to let you know, we're really pleased that you're able to join us this evening. And I really am sure you will learn a lot and, get the tools needed to become better leaders in your respectful councils and units. But before we get started, did you know that by participating in this webinar, you could qualify for the Special Leadership Development PIN? What do you have to do? You have to attend and view at least 6 of these workshops with these webinars and absorb all the knowledge. And, what's important is you have to absorb the knowledge, but what's more important is you have to apply what you've learned into your units and or districts and councils. And what makes it easy for us is you will then demonstrate to us and show us how you are making a difference. Once you've completed these steps and demonstrated your leadership in action, you will unlock the exclusive Leadership Development Award PIN, your access right there. It is not just a pin, it's a symbol of your dedication and excellence as a leader in our community. Now, well, before we get in there, I just want to let you know, um, each what unlocks your ability to gain access to the awards pin is there's a special question, and that special question will be the question that you will need to answer um uh once you apply for the leadership development pin. And so the special question for this evening is going to be, how many arts categories are there in Reflection to choose from? Okay. And I'm sure the presenters are going to talk about it. And I just want you to put your special spidey ears on and listen. And I guess Spidey because we're in Halloween. It's October, and I'm thinking about Halloween and all the Spidey costumes. But also, an Avenger. I'm an older Avenger. I'm slow to the program, but I know he was part of the Avengers. Um, but it is important that you listen. It is important that you take the information. It is important that you bring the information to your units, and it is so important that you give these opportunities to our students, to your students, and allow them to be the stronger leaders that and the stronger leaders that they can become. Because we all know that knowing about the programs that are going on in New York State, this is one of the key things, because it's not, yes, we're about advocacy, we're about enrichment, we're about a lot of different things, and I don't want to limit it. But how can you not have a program? How can you not talk about reflections? How can you not talk about art? How can you? These are the things that we fight for to make sure that our kids have this in each and every school. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to allow Joan Wobnick to speak as our DO. And once Joan Wobnick has come on board, the next voice you're going to hear is going to be Kathleen Jennings. And Kathleen is the coordinator for the programs team. She will start us off, she will lead us, and then as she goes on, she will continue to introduce the rest of the team. Joan, I'm going to give it to you. Thank you so much, Joan.
Well, thank you, Robin. I would just like to welcome everybody to tonight. I know I was a programs coordinator at one time, so heart is in the programs. They're wonderful things for all students across New York State that they can participate in, and it really recognizes all the hard work. So I won't keep you any longer because I know that the programs team has a great workshop, ahead and lots of information for you. And thank you very much, Robin, and welcome programs team.
Here you go, Kathleen. You got it.
All right. Well, thank you, Robin. Thank you, Joan. Good evening and welcome to our leadership development presentation about our programs. Just a little bit of housekeeping to start. As you may have heard, this workshop is being recorded. But all the slide decks and recordings from this evening will be posted on our website at newyorkstatepta.org. So you will be able to get them. You can also always just shoot me an email at programs@newyorkstatepta.org, and that email will be up a couple of times, so don't worry if you didn't catch it. And I'd be happy to share with you the template. I ask that all participants remain muted. We will have a Q&A at the end, and you can unmute for that. But as of right now, we ask that you all stay muted. And we ask that if you have any questions during the presentation, just use the chat box and we will get to them when we can. So without further ado, I think, whoopsie, sorry, I'm a little overeager on the click button tonight. There we go. Let me introduce the rest of our amazing team. On the office side, we have Kim Blasiak, who is our Programs Events Association. She is amazing because right now she's actually in 2 meetings at the same time, trying to help us and help another meeting. So shout out to Kim at the office for being just superwoman. We also have Jane Harsha. Jane is our literacy consultant. She's also a former New York State PTA president. Jane ran the PARP program last year. She had stepped in as consultant and helped with the judging. And this year she's also helping us with the PARP program and literacy. Our designated officer is Patrice Rocklin. She is the vice president. She's a vice president in New York State PTA. She will not be joining us tonight, but she sends her love to us all and hopes that you all get interested in programs. On the other side of the spectrum, we have our art specialist, Jennifer Pollock-Hurst. Jennifer is joining us this evening, and she is going to tell us everything you need to know about Reflections. And judging by the amount of emails she's getting, you all have a lot of questions about Reflections. We also have joining us this evening, Vienna DePina. Vienna is our literacy specialist. So come January, when you all realize you have to do PARP, she's the one you're going to be sending all those emails to. So thank you both for being here with us tonight. And without further ado, let's start talking a little bit about what the heck is programs. All right. Full disclosure. Okay. Until this year, I had never even done half the programs we're going to talk about tonight. So if you were confused when you started looking at these things, don't worry. We all were too, and we learned it, and we will help you. Right? Programs are major aspects, are awards and recognitions, parent-family resources. We have our Pick a Reading Partner program under our literacy umbrella. We have our arts program, which Reflections comes under. We also are in charge of family engagement, Every Child Travel Safely, and other national PTA programs. All this information can be found on our website. There is a QR code on the screen, and you'll see QR codes throughout the evening. You can hold your phone up to it, go to it right away if you want to get it, or you can wait until we post the slide deck. All the QR codes will be in there, and you can access everything then. Okay. After the what the heck it is, why are we doing this? All right. We do programming because we believe that programs is what makes our units, our PTA, stronger, right? No one goes home and goes, Mom, guess what? Today at school, they had the treasurer's meeting and they counted the PTA money from the book fair. No, what is the thing that keeps us alive and keeps us fed and keeps the kids fed? It's our programming. And we allow pathways for children to meet their basic needs through our programs, to meet their potential through our programs, to be exposed to things that they may not have other opportunities to through our programs, right? They are essential and integral to PTA, all right? And our programs that we are looking at tonight, I like to think are some of the most fun as well. They're the ones that really get you going and get your energy up. So I'm going to introduce now the chair of our arts committee, our arts specialist, Jennifer Pollock-Hurst. Jennifer?
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here tonight and talk to all of you guys about Reflections specifically this evening. So what is reflections? Kathleen, can you give me the next slide, please? Oh, next one. So reflections has been around for a very, very long time. And some of you are familiar with it, and your PTAs have been participating for years and years and years. It's been around for 50 years. So it's definitely not a new program. It's a very exciting and fun arts awards program. Lots of different schools can participate, anywhere from UPK all the way through 12th grade, which is very exciting. The little ones all the way up to the big ones. And what's great for the big ones, obviously, they can use this on college resumes, things like that. That's a wonderful thing. And the little ones, it's a great way for them to be able to express their feelings through art. And we absolutely love that. There are 6 different areas of the arts that they can participate in. And one is dance choreography, one is film production, there's literature, music composition, photography, and visual arts. All of these are wonderful. Some of them are things that the children are doing in school. Some of them are things they do outside of school. And some of these will be new for them, and they'll be learning about through you. And then they can earn, obviously, recognition through this award program. Kathleen? This year's theme, so every year there's a theme for the Reflections Award program. This year's theme is I Belong, which is an amazing theme. I mean, even my own son, who's 7 years old, when I said that to him and I said, you know, the theme for this year's award is I Belong. And how do you feel when I say I belong? Do you ever know what you feel like when you don't belong? And now, what does it mean? And how do you feel when you do belong? And he just, you know, gave me an entire explanation of that. And then I said, you know, if I asked you to draw a picture of that, do you think you could do that? If I asked you to write me 3 sentences about it, do you think you could do that? And he ran to his room and he actually did it, which was so wonderful because I wasn't even saying, you know, now we're going to enter a big contest. He just wanted to do it and he got really, really excited about it. I think it's a fabulous theme that children of all ages can attach to very easily, and express their feelings through, which is wonderful. Kathleen? So if you are a PTA that has not been a part of this before, so how do you get started, right? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to apply to National and let them know that you're going to participate. So there's a QR code here. You can scan that QR code. And as Kathleen mentioned earlier, you can do it now. This will be posted later. You can do it later. And when you get to the National site, there is a place where it will say register now, and you will register your unit to participate. And then you will fill out the form. It's a Survey Monkey, and you'll just let them know that your unit is participating this year. You'll want to make sure you go through the checklist. New York State PTA's website has a checklist, and you can go through that checklist and make sure that you have all the qualifications. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to decide which categories you want to do. So there are 6, as we mentioned before, right? Well, if it's your first year, that's a lot. It's a lot to get into 6 categories all in 1 year. So maybe pick 1 or 2. Our PTA this year, we're new to this. And so we picked actually 4, which I thought was kind of a lot for a first year, but they wanted to try it. 1 or 2, you can pick, you know, visual arts is a great one because kids do art in school, music composition, because obviously they take music in school, especially at the younger ages. And then you're able to have something where the kids will maybe have some guidance from the school, not that they'll do it during their school day, but there's teachers there readily available that if they ask them, probably will be able to help them, you know, if they have a question. As we mentioned, you're going to let the National PTA know that you're participating. You want to make sure you go through all the rules, which on that checklist that I just mentioned on the New York State website, you go through there, you go through the checklist, make sure that you have every little box checked off of everything you'll need to do and that you've taken care of everything. The next thing you want to do is get a committee together. right? Because doing this by yourself, it's going to feel like a lot. And I know I fielded a lot of questions from a lot of unit leaders and reflections leaders who are new, who are asking because they feel overwhelmed. And it's understandable, especially if you're new to this, that it would feel really, really overwhelming. But get people on your committee, get a committee together of new parents who are interested. Obviously most PTAs have, well, obviously everybody has an executive board, but most PTAs will also have committees. But those people tend to be very, very busy. And the best thing you can do is, put feelers out and say, you know what, we're doing a new arts program, a new arts awards program. And what you'll find is that there's a lot of parents who might be involved in the arts themselves who just don't have time necessarily to devote to PTA as a whole. But when they hear that it's an arts program, they get very excited. And then they might say, well, I can't give you all my time, but I could help you plan the award ceremony, or I could help you find some judges in my field and some of the other fields around me because, I have a lot of people I can reach out to. And then you start to have, some people surrounding you that are going to help you get through this so you don't feel so alone in doing this and so overwhelmed. And then, as I mentioned, you're going to want to recruit judges for entries. So whether it's within your committee that those people then help you reach out, I don't mean that the committee are your judges. What I mean is that those people might have connections to people that are professionals in the industry and they can help you reach those people. And depending on which area of the arts you decide to participate in, you can find people. Now, again, it's easy to get overwhelmed quickly and think, well, we're doing, music composition. I need, a Metropolitan Opera singer that's going to be our judge, or, I'm going to need, Picasso to judge the visual arts category. Um, Obviously, that's not the case. And you can get people in your local community to do this for you. You can get a librarian from the local library. You can get people from your local arts council to help you. You can even get school teachers if they are not the teacher of the kids who are participating. So if you are an elementary school, the best thing you could do is get the high school teachers to help you judge. So maybe there's a high school music teacher that would probably love to do this because it gives her insight into who's coming up in a few years, and she'll get to see the kids that are going to be her students in the years to come. So that's a wonderful thing to have. And then, Kathleen, if you could change the slide, the biggest thing you're going to want to make sure of is your unit in good standing? So you must, this is very, very important, make sure before you sign on to participate and tell all the parents you're doing this, you want to make sure that your unit is in good standing. So what does that mean? It means that you have at least 25 paid members that are fully paid and are in your unit. You're going to want to make sure that your insurance is up to date and paid. Now, obviously, we've had some questions from people asking, well, our insurance is paid, but it expires on a certain date. And is that okay? And does it have to have just started again? The date is fine as long as it's currently active. That's fine. You want to make sure your bylaws are up to date. You're going to want to make sure your 990 filing is current and that your IRS exemption is also current. You're going to want to make sure that your officers are listed up to date in givebacks so that your current officers for this year, because as we know, a lot of people had elections at the end of last year in June. So you're going to want to make sure that those newly elected officers are listed in givebacks. And finally, a new rule that just came into play as of SLC this past July at the New York State SLC conference, the presidents and treasurers of every unit need to have completed the new financial accountability training. Now, this is an online course. It's mandatory for all presidents and treasurers, regardless if you participate in Reflections or you don't. But if you want to participate, you will need to make sure that your president and treasurer have completed this. And there are a lot of different options of dates and times. I know a lot have already taken place. If those times and dates don't work for you, reach out to the office and I'm sure they will help you try to find a date and time that can work.
No, don't reach out to the office.
Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully there's a
Reach
time.
out to your region director.
Okay. Yes. Reach out to your region director and they will help you find a time and day that can work. Okay. Kathleen, the next slide. So as we mentioned, you're going to want to get program volunteers, right? So you're going to have a committee together. And those can be parents in your PTA community. They can be people who are not even on the PTA yet. And this is a wonderful way to get them to join your PTA and be members eventually, even if they're not yet, because once they get, involved with you, they're going to get excited about it, especially if it's in the arts and they are in the arts and they see that, this is a way for them to get more involved in their school where their child attends. So, they might say, well, what can I do and how can I be involved? Obviously you're going to need to find judges, as we mentioned. So you're going to need someone to help you do that. You might find somebody that's a real computer whiz who can help you with all of the entry forms, getting them organized, because once you have the judges go through all of that, you're going to have to get that all organized. And then it's going to have to be, once you have your winners, they're going to have to be organized and then advanced to your region. So if someone is really great in tech and they want to help you with that, that's a great place to have somebody get involved. You're going to want to have people who help you get the word out about all of this, especially at this date if you're going to be doing it for this year. So you might have someone that's great at social media, or they're just really great at getting word out within the schools. They have great ideas, even beyond social media, on how to do that, and they can get involved that way. And then finally, someone who's going to help you come up with ways to celebrate, because the best thing about this is once it's all over and done with, regardless if they've won or they have not won, they've participated. And that's what's so wonderful. These children have taken their time to express their feelings through the arts, and you want to celebrate that. And so have a parent or two parents or three or however many want to help you, and you can decide that number. And those people can help you come up with a way to, put on some sort of celebration. Kathleen? So we mentioned about promoting the program. So there are different age divisions. We've talked about the categories. There's also different age divisions. So there's UPK to second, third to fifth, and so on and so forth, sixth to eighth, and 9 to 12th. And there's also the accessible arts category as well, which is a wonderful category, which I'll talk about in a second. In each of these categories, in each of these divisions, are all of the categories we discussed already. So once you go about doing all of your awards, you're going to have 1 to 2 winners in each of these age divisions for each of the categories that you decide to do. So let's say you decide to do visual arts. You will have a visual arts winner in the UPK to second. You can have 1 to 2 winners. That's up to you and how the applicants come. So if you have, many applicants, and then you can pick up to 2 winners. If you feel that there's only one, that's fine. You can submit only one. And so there can be up to 2 in UPK to second. There can be 2 in third to fifth, and so on and so on. You're going to want to make sure that each student, as they're doing this, has a completed student entry form. The entry form, there is a QR code coming up that will help you get to that entry form. And again, once this is over tonight, this will be posted, so you'll be able to still have that QR code and be able to get to that so you can print it out. It's important also to know that the student and the parent will both need to sign that entry form. And, like I said, my son is 7 years old. I had him sign it, and it was very cute. I mean, he certainly can't sign it, in script, but he wrote his name and he felt very proud of that. And I think that's wonderful. And so his name is on there with, with mine, and he was very proud to do that. And then they're going to need a 10 to 100 word, what we call artist statement, which basically what they're going to need to do is they're going to need to state how their piece of art relates to the theme, which is I belong. So if they can't write yet because they're younger, that's fine. They are able to dictate to you what they want said, and you can write that for them. It just has to be in their words. So obviously there's a difference between a parent writing it and a child writing it, but if the child has said it, you can hear their words even if you're the ones typing it or writing it out, and that's fine. Kathleen? So submitting. So here is the QR code if you want to take an opportunity to screenshot it. And again, it will be available later as well. We are this year collecting all submissions virtually, not in person, by category and division. We are not accepting physical entries for a big reason. Well, really two reasons. One, because the potential for breakage of physical entries is big. I mean, you know, if you have the 5-year-old who handed you their 3D ceramic art sculpture that they're incredibly proud of, and the judges take it on, and God forbid it breaks, it would be a horrible, horrible feeling to have to let them know that, especially when they're super young. So that's one reason. Another reason why is because in some of the categories, like dance choreography, it is wonderful to see dance live. And we would love to be able to see everything live and all of it physically in person. But unfortunately, that's not the case when we're judging. So in order to keep it all even across the board, it's going to be where every piece, whether it's art, whether it's music composition, no matter what the category is, they will all be submitted virtually. Now, if you have a celebration, once it's over, that would be a great opportunity then to be able to have it physically there. And you can certainly have them bring it in, and then they're there with their artwork and they can display it and show it off. And that's a nice time to let them do that. You're going to make sure that the submissions obviously follow all the rules. The form you will see when you print out that form, if you as a unit print it out, the top has a portion where you can fill that out for your unit ahead of time and then make copies and then pass that out to your parents. That way you won't have the parents asking you for that information, like your unit number. It has questions like that. So it's easier if you as a unit fill it out ahead of time and then print out copies from there and hand that out. You're going to make sure to provide the judges with their instruction and materials, to give a deadline to the judges. Most unit deadlines are on or around November 15th because most region deadlines are on or around December 15th. Units get to set their own deadlines. So if you are a unit leader, you can, and you have not yet set that deadline, that is your decision to set that date for whenever you feel comfortable taking on those entries. But you're going to want to check to make sure that you have your region's deadline. Every region has set those deadlines already, and you want to make sure you know what that is. You can reach out to your region leaders and find out what your deadline is so that you know how much time you have to play with. Here is a list, if you want to take a look, of each region and their deadline for the region. This way, you know when the region is going to have their deadline coming up. You can then, as a unit, make your decision. And again, most units will set their deadline on or around November 15th. New York State's deadline is January 15th. So if you're a region leader and you're on tonight with us, then you know you have from whatever that deadline is that you have already set, you will have that amount of time to have your judges do the work they need to do and then get it turned over to us. Kathleen? And then we celebrate. So this is the fun part, right? So once you have judged and come up with your winners at whichever level you are at, you get to celebrate, and whatever that means. And there's a lot of different ways to do that, and it does not have to take a lot of money. So don't stress if you feel like, wow, you know, we don't have the budget for this year, so maybe we'll just wait. Well, there's a lot of ways that you can celebrate and not cost any money at all. You know, our unit, like I said, we're new this year to doing this, and we are going to, we don't have a December meeting. And because obviously our unit deadline is November 15th, and we're going to turn things over to our region in December, instead of celebrating in December, we decided that all of our submissions, we will have a celebration in January. And what we're going to do is invite them to our PTA meeting. Because this way, what better way to get people to join your PTA who have not joined? Because, by the way, to take part in reflections, they do not have to be PTA members. So if you have a parent that says, well, we haven't joined PTA, can my child still participate? Yes, they can. But it would be amazing to get them to join. So a wonderful way to do that, have them make a big celebration around your PTA meeting, have them come do a very short, brief meeting in January or whenever it works for your unit. Have the short little meeting and then open up the floor and have a celebration of your own arts and let everybody show off everything they did. You can post up all of the visual arts that have been submitted. You can have a screen. Maybe you could have some performances. And then you have, you know, maybe a donation of some cupcakes and some drinks. Because, you know, there's lots of different restaurants or stores or things like that that will always be happy, especially when it comes to children, to donate food for celebrations like that. So that's a lot of fun. And say thank you to everybody. Thank you to your judges. Thank you to your committees, all these people who hopefully and probably have put in tons of time to help out. And then hopefully you get all these people as wonderful new members of your PTA. Kathleen? So the next thing you're going to do, obviously, is you're going to have to submit your winners up to the region. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure you do is make copies of every single piece of artwork that you are going to submit up to the region, because you don't want to submit the only copies you have. So make sure you have copies. Then you're going to make sure everything gets submitted to your region reflections chairman. As I mentioned before, every PTA unit can submit 1 to 2 winners for each of the categories in each of the age divisions. And all of that will be due by your region's deadline, which in that previous screen, we showed you all of those deadlines. Again, this will be posted later. So if you didn't get to screenshot that before, it will be available again on the New York State website after this is all completed. Kathleen? So Celebration of the Arts. So Celebration of the Arts is actually, and it just actually took place, which was wonderful. It took place last weekend. It was, I can't even tell you how like warm and fuzzy it made me feel. It was a celebration of all the New York State winners in every single category and division. And when I tell you, seeing these children, these students, explained, there were videos, there were write-ups by the students about their piece of artwork that won. Seeing all of this, hearing their feelings, this celebration that we had last weekend was for the 2024-2025 winners. And it was the theme last year was accepting imperfections, which also is such an amazing theme. And watching these children talk about or write about what that theme meant to them, like I can't even tell you how many times I teared up. It was really, really emotional and wonderful. And some of them even became national winners from this past year. We had quite a few national winners from New York State, which is really exciting. And that can happen again this year. So let's make it happen for New York State. I think that would be really, really exciting. So Celebration of the Arts takes place, like I said, it just took place. So it's in the fall. So you can see the process of how this goes all the way up the chain. So yeah, we're really, really excited. We would love to see all of y'all participate with us. Reflections is a wonderful, wonderful program that I am so fortunate to have been a part of and be a part of now this year at New York with New York State and again with my unit, and I'm excited about it. And I hope to see you all participate with us. Thank you. Kathleen?
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Moving on now to our literacy topic. We have with us this evening Bianna Dapina, who is our literacy specialist. Bianna?
Thank you, Kathleen. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. Go to the next slide, Kathleen, please. All right, so here we have our list committee members. So Kathleen, go to the next slide. I think it's the same. This is also the same. So what is PARP? Pick a reading partner. Go to the next slide, Kathleen. Thank you. So initially, when we first started, or when PARP was first created, it was to pick, for parents to read to their children. But many children, most, sometimes don't have a parent, or, is not the case for all the kids. So a way to fit the entire criteria and for kids to read and to develop a love for reading, the name was changed to Pick a Reading Partner. So that could be a cousin, could be a friend, could be a teacher, could be a mentor, could be anyone. So that is not just limiting to a parent. And again, the idea is to read with the child for at least 20 minutes. I personally say read. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes, but read every night if you can, to your children, to your siblings, to the child that is in your life, because it's important. It fosters a love for reading. It fosters curiosity. It really is a way to really open up the world to to other things for the children. Next slide. So what is the goal for PARP? The goals for PARP are to instill curiosity and love for reading, ignite enjoyment of reading, increase reading opportunities for children, expand children's knowledge of books and why they're important. Next slide. And as we move along into the spring, we'll talk, a little more in more detail about PARP. But for now, this is just an overview. So what makes a successful PARP program? And this is just from my experience personally. I would say the first thing, as Jennifer mentioned, set up a committee. You trying to do this on your own, if you've never done it, or even if you've done it before, trying to do it on your own is a huge task. We know everyone is very busy. Life is happening to all of us. So set up a committee, ask for buy-in, ask your community to support. You have librarians, you have so many people that love to give back. Ask those people. Create a theme. Ask for, what the kids like. My unit last year, we did a jungle theme. So the theme for PARP was around, wild for reading. I think it was the theme, if I'm not mistaken. Look at understanding cost and timeline. Again, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but you have to sort of figure out where, if you want to participate at the state level and at the national level, just time yourself out, so that way you are giving yourself time, you're pacing yourself, and you are covering cost. Our local unit here in the Long Island region, we ask for donations. We have a couple of committee members that's all they do. They go out and ask for donations from businesses, just community members in general. The next thing is activities and materials. Kids love just being able to touch things, to read things. So make it fun, make it exciting. The next thing that is also important is opening and closing ceremony. So you could do an assembly, you could do a family night. We did a family night for PARP. as an opening event. And then as a closing event, we did a book fair. So those are some of the things that you could do. And the last thing that I'm going to highlight on this slide is recognition and thanks. We are all volunteers. We want to hear, hey, great job. Thank you for being there. Thank you for your help. It doesn't matter whether you did a lot or you did a little. Every little bit counts. So just say thank you to everyone. Thank you. Next slide, Kathleen. Thank you. If you see on the screen, there is a QR code. You can also take a look at the New York State PTA website, and you're going to see so many resources. If you love PARP and you love reading, you're going to be like a kid in a candy store because there is so much information, so many resources, so many activities for you to use or share or just kind of brainstorm. So you have one of the sections is for a PARP program. Section 2 is for program activities. You have sample forms, you have resources. And then if you are a competitive person, just like I am, you're one to look at the award-winning programs. Who won last year? How can you how can you beat them? So all of that is on the New York State website. You can scan the QR code and we'll share with you the slides for you to look at. Next slide. The next thing, and I think is probably my favorite, we have Every Child Reads. So Every Child Reads is a contest. We just closed this out. The contest is, first and foremost, is a blindly reviewed contest. That means that we don't know who the kids are. This year, I am very proud for all the entries that we received. We received 3 times as many entries as last year. So that was 144 entries this year from all across the state. We picked 10 winners. I have to tell you, it was very hard. All the entries were fantastic. It was very difficult to pick just 10 out of 144. But we're looking forward to celebrate those kids at convention. So if you're coming to convention, we hope to see you there. And I also want to congratulate all the regions that submitted a submission on behalf of their children, and be on the lookout for next year's contest. Next slide. Oh, yes, and this is what I was saying. So if you're coming to convention, in 2 weeks, we look forward to seeing you, and we look forward, for you to help us celebrate the winners for PARP and the winners for Every Child Reads. It will be a great celebration. You will have a great time, and we look forward to seeing you there. Okay, I think that's about it. Kathleen, over to you.
Thank you, Vienna. Appreciate that very much. Now, I'm sure that we've generated a lot of questions, so we're going to steer you towards a few resources you can use to help investigate answers to these questions. First, we have a list of helpful websites that include our own New York State PTA website, as well as the national websites for reflections. We also have included the Reflections Award winners from last year. So if you're curious of what exactly are they looking for, I think that would be a very helpful thing to look at. Vienna has included the PARP toolkit, which she referenced earlier, and she also has links to parent resources, including her summer reading suggestions to help prevent the summer slide. Now, your first stop for your questions would be to your council, should you have one. If you don't have a council, or your council can't, says, well, let's go check with the region, your next step is the region. level. And the region is the one you come to with most of your questions. Your region contacts are listed on our New York State PTA website. We also have the QR code here. You may not be aware that you're in a region. Some people aren't really sure what region they're in, so we have included the map to help you identify where you are. I, for example, am in the southeastern region. I'm right here in Onondaga County, which I gather a lot of you have never even heard of. But if you've heard of Syracuse, that's where I'm from. Like I like to say, if you have a pothole on your street, you don't call the president of the United States to come fix it, right? You call your local town. So we work our way up the chain. So if you have a question, you should approach your region director first. Then the region director will help connect you with state. And then the state, if necessary, will help connect you to national. You don't need to send your questions right to national. You can just come to your region director and then come to state and we will help you. Now we're going to open up the chat at this time, and we're going to allow you, if you just use the reactions at the bottom of your screen to raise your hand. We will start calling on people, and you can share your questions with us. To start, I have a question here.
Actually, Kathleen.
Yes?
Kathleen, I'm sorry. I just want to step in.
Oh, I'm so
Before we
sorry.
get into that's okay. Before we get into Q&A, and I want you guys to hold your questions. I put some in the chat, and I have some more. This was an awesome presentation. This team, I just want to say thank you so much to this team. You guys were phenomenal. But I wanted to give our New York State PTA president an opportunity to welcome us and to, give her remarks in regards to the programs and everything that was said. So Patty, go ahead.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you to the programs team and presenters. This has been a wonderful presentation. As a parent, PARP was probably one of my most favorite programs for all of my children to participate in. I had the opportunity to chair PARP once, and my co-chair, in addition to being a parent, was a kindergarten teacher. And so that led to a lot of fun, including costumes and things that we showed up in school. So really great fun memories of PARP. And I really love the presentation of how we're doing it so that we can expand PARP, because a lot of times we feel like it's just an elementary school thing. So let's expand it beyond. And I love that. And the same with Reflections. You know that a big part of our mission is family engagement, and there's no better way to do family engagement than to interact with your children and do these kind of things like literacy and the arts, because again, it's a level playing ground to start. It's a creativity thing, and there's no right or wrong there. So it's a great, those are both great avenues. So thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. I hope that you share with us the results of these programs in your unit, whether they've won awards or not. Again, as Jennifer pointed out, our celebration in the arts recently, just being able to see the children and their proud faces as they talk about their work was priceless and wonderful. So thank you all. And again, we're looking forward to seeing how you do these programs in your units.
Thank you, Patty. I really appreciate it. And it's really awesome. And again, to have the leadership and our PTA president, again, stand with us and talk about her experiences as a parent. And that's what it is. Her experience, my experience, your experience, it's all the same. We're parents in the PTA trying to expose our children to the arts and literacy. And that's really important that we continue to support these programs. So I'm going to give it back to Kathleen so that she can continue to direct and answer the questions. Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen, for letting me sneak in there.
Thank you very much, Patty and Robin. We appreciate it. All right, let's hit the ground running with this Q&A. The first question is a multi-part question. I believe it goes to Vienna. Who are the best persons to add to our PARP committee?
So I think my response, I'm going to be biased here, and I'm a huge volunteer. I volunteer a lot. I will say, and this is what I said in the chat, look for people who are passionate, look for people who are willing to give whatever little bit of time they have. I know that sounds cliche, but you want people that when you call them, they're going to answer and I'll be like, you don't want people like that. You don't want people like that. You want someone who's like, oh, hey, Kathleen. Oh, hey, Robin. I need this. Can you help? And it's like, you know what? I'm not available today, but I'm available Friday night. I'm available Saturday morning. I can help. So look for that. I think in terms of the type of people in my region, we have a lot of people who have retired after COVID. Go to the library. Go to the library between, I would say, 10 and 12 if you have time, or if you're on PTO. Go during that time frame, any day of the week. Ask to speak to a librarian. Ask them for, hey, I'm looking to launch a a reading program. Can you help? Can you sign people up? And they, at least I can tell you, my local library, they have so many resources. They have so many seniors that are looking to be busy, that are looking to be just that human connection, and they are the people to go to. I would also suggest connecting with your high school level kids and counselors, because those kids, they need community service hours. So this is a great way to connect the two, because you also need young people to be able to do their running around. You know, those are the kids that you're going to send to, you know, oh, can you go to Mikey's Pizza and see if they can donate a pie for for the celebration night. So, you know, you need the computer savvy kids for them to, put up a flyer, do something on social media if you need it. So I would say have a combination of people, and send an email if you need anything, or if you have questions.
And the second part of that question was, does the theme from PART come from our PTA unit, or does the state PTA give us a theme?
That is your thing. That is your unit gets to pick whatever theme you like. My suggestion is make it fun for the kids, but the unit decides the theme.
We're having a hard time finding Reflections chair and anyone to jump on a committee. As president, I don't want our students to miss out. How can I recruit people to go about this on my own and make sure we have a strong committee? So Jennifer, I guess this one is yours.
I understand, and it's hard. We had a similar situation with our unit, and what I can be, the best piece of advice I can tell you is to make it really small your first year, so that you feel if you're going to take it on yourself, and that's the easiest thing, especially having trouble the first year, finding volunteers. Do one category, do just one category, keep it really, really small. Make some copies, see if you can talk to your school's art teacher and music teacher, see if they'll help you just get the word out, so that you're not having to rely on so many people to do all the things, like all the social media and all the things that you don't have time for as much. A lot of times our teachers asked me to make them some copies, and they've actually been spreading the word themselves. We do have additional help as well, but they've been actually really wonderful at speaking to students and handing out copies to the kids, and the kids are running home excited that their art teacher asked them to submit to this exciting contest. So it's working, and we're really doing very little groundwork, because when the teacher asks them, and the teacher is not doing the work as part of their school day, we made it very clear we don't want them to have to take time out of their day. But they actually offered to just kind of hand out the form and just let them know they'd love to see them participate. But just do literally one category. Pick one that's in your school. Do visual arts, do literature if you can maybe get the librarian to help you out, or music composition even. It depends on the age of your students at your school. But that would be probably my best advice to start.
And another question is, do the judges have to be paid PTA members of our unit?
No.
They do not, but it's an individual unit decision. I know some units choose to say that you have to be a paid member, but it is open to everyone. It is a good membership recruitment tool. If they come in and volunteer and see what you're doing, they're likely to want to join on their own. Jen and Vienna, any follow up on that?
Actually, I want to follow up one thing on the part about starting really small, which is that if you start really, really small your first year, and even if you get 3 kids that enter, you can take those 3 kids and build so much on that for next year. And I have a feeling not only will you get more kids who will want to enter, but you'll get a lot of volunteers who are going to want to be involved because they'll suddenly see what this is all about. When you say, look at these 3 children that got, moved on to the region, and look at their artwork that they presented as part of this really exciting contest. And I think it's going to help build your program and get you the kind of help that you're going to want and need.
We have some questions about the new financial training that's related to being in good standing. We're not qualified to answer the questions about, what do co-presidents have to take the financial training? It is Kim tells us that both need to take the training. So if you have co-presidents, both of them need to take the training. Then another question is the financial training available on the New York State PTA website anywhere for review or for other members of the exec team to view? And Kim has said, we will be sending out an email to unit leaders through givebacks with any new training dates. Currently, we do not offer the training on our website, only live via Zoom. So you need to be signing up for it. So check. If you haven't got your president and treasurer in, get them in ASAP. All right. Let's see. The next
I would
question
also
is,
say, I'm sorry, Kathleen,
sure.
any questions they might have in regards to the financial accountability training, they should tap into their region, just to make sure that they're, in line. And if their region, then we'll follow up and move the question up to the state if needed. But I'm a person that I've taken the training 3 times. I have nothing to do with finances, and I have to say that it's been informative every time I take it, and it doesn't matter who's presenting it. So, but I do know that in my own local unit that I'm a member of, both co-presidents did have to take it.
Thank you, Robin.
Mhm.
The next question is, looking at it from the perspective of a community-based PTSA, such as what we have in Buffalo, can anyone speak about their experiences launching these programs as a community-based PTSA? When you're not located directly in the school, it feels more challenging, but I'd love if you could share success stories or strategies used as a community-based PTSA. That is an excellent question.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, it's somewhat easier, believe it or not, to approach it as community-based because then you can just offer all the age levels and you can just have the judges all do all the same. It makes your life actually so much easier. So what looks like a problem, actually some of us are quite envious of. I just must put that out there. Does anyone have any follow-up on that?
I would say, I think you have your niche as a PTSA already. Let me look at my resources because my previous district, we had a PTSA and they had all of those resources for that. So please, Trina, please share your contact information with us or with me directly so I can follow up with you and just share some literacy resources. But I would say you have your little niche already, for special education. So follow up with that. And I think to piggyback, on what Kathleen was saying, you have the entire community. You are not sort of tied to, to the school district itself or to, the elementary school itself. You have the entire community to reach out to. So how are you presenting it? Are you making it exciting? Are you saying, hey, you know what, let's have a family night and let's do some, let's what do you, just put something together where you are bringing families together, you're bringing community together. Could be one of my local school districts here on Long Island, they invited me to present. This is not PTA related, but to share resources. Nonprofit. So it was, for me to come. So it's sharing resources. So it could be, resources for the family. And then you can have the kids do something while the parents are learning about something. So that way you're having sort of a win-win and sort of launch it that way. But you have everything is at your disposal, is how you're presenting it.
And just to piggyback on that, being as you're in New York City, you have access to resources a lot of us don't have.
Mhm.
You need to shoot your shot, put on your nice letterhead, and send emails to people you don't think that you can get involved, right? You have all those world-class universities there with drama departments filled. You have art departments filled. Start reaching out to the professors. This is New York City. You have the New York Philharmonic. You have the Metropolitan Opera. You have Broadway. It can't hurt to try. Throw it out there. And if you can get somebody with a big name to come, it's only going to help promote your program more. So if you don't try, you'll never know, is my advice to you.
I would say this. What about, Trina, what about if you do lunch at the museum, or I don't know, breakfast at the museum? I know the museum of something, I think most of the museums, they have like a free Wednesday. Take the kids to the museum on Wednesday and do, I don't know, late lunch at the museum. And what's at the museum? Have them get something, a tour, a learning experience, and have it, do something, do an activity at the museum and see how it goes. Talk to someone at the museum and have them be that chair for reflections if you need it, if you need that to be.
We have a question here about the Every Child Travels Safely program, traffic safety event that schools can participate in. We did not cover it in this webinar. There is information on the New York State PTA website, or you can email me and I will send you some further information. Or actually, no, excuse me. You need to email Kim and she will send you the information. It's in the chat, her email. Does anyone else have any questions? Please use the reaction to raise your hand or type them in the chat box. Randy Moore.
Hi, thank you so much. Quick question on reflections. I believe I heard it said that all the submissions are going to be virtual. So I had a question on would they just submit to say an email address or something like that? And then I was just a quick question on, I was curious because we've never done it before, how the judging would work in the sense of if things are virtual.
So no, that's a very good question. So you're going to want to make sure you have an email address that is for your reflections entries. So once you have your reflections chairman, make sure they have created a reflections email address that you can use separately, because it's difficult when you start using your PTA email as your reflections email as well. And then it gets very mixed up and confused, and it's not a good idea. The easiest thing to do is have a separate email address just for that. It'll keep everything very organized. It'll keep all your entries in one place. And then they can use that to answer questions too when parents have questions for them about entries. Then you're probably going to want to have some sort of Dropbox or something like that where you can have them put the entries into that, and that way they'll be able to have access to it, because they're not going to be getting together. Obviously, you're not going to have the judges all meeting in one room at the same time to judge the entries. They're going to need to be able to have access to that all on their own. There is a rubric and there is a link. If I'm trying to think if that link was in, I think it was on one of the last slides. The QR code was, and if you click that, it will take you to a page that will have all of the information about the judging. And on there, it has the forms. It'll give you all the information about for the judges on what they need. And they can use that when they're judging. It tells them everything they need to know about the scoring system and how they're going to break it down. Oh, and I believe Kathleen may have just put it into the chat as well.
Yes, I put the template for the entire slideshow in the chat so you can get all the codes.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Kathleen. That's awesome.
Thank you, Jen. We have another question for you. If we choose to only do 1 or 2 categories of reflections, how would you advertise that in past years, we know there were other categories, but this year we're just focusing on 1 or 2?
I mean, that's a great question. I think, different years can have different focuses for your school or your unit. And you can say, we have lots of different areas that we like to focus on. And this year we are putting a spotlight on whatever. This year's spotlight is going to be on visual arts, or this year's spotlight is going to be on 2 areas if you decide to focus on 2, because maybe you have a little less help and you want to just narrow it down, which is a good idea to keep it organized. There have been questions to me in the past about what if you have a student that maybe wants to still participate in an area that you are not offering. That is an individual decision for your unit. It is an option if you have a sister school that you want to speak to their unit about having the child participate through their unit and letting them apply through them. And they are welcome to do that if they want. So let's say you are doing visual arts and music composition, and you have a child that wants to do dance choreography, and you're just not going to be offering that this year. Maybe you did in the past, but this year you've narrowed it down, like some of you mentioned. And you have a school nearby that is offering dance choreography, and you're friendly with the unit leader. You can certainly speak to them, see if they'd be willing to take on an additional student to be judged. That student would then enter through them, but they are then entering through that unit. So they're not entering, if they win, they're winning under that unit's name, not under yours. So you would just need to understand that. But, it does give another student an opportunity where they might not have that opportunity otherwise. So sometimes it's just nice to give that. And then maybe next year, like you said, if you're narrowing it down for a year, then you open it back up and add that category back in. And that child, will feel wonderful because they got to participate through a different unit last year. Now they get to participate with you. So.
Thank you, Jennifer. Do we have any other questions? If you have any questions, please put them in the chat or use the reactions to raise your hand. Okay, it looks like that is it for the questions. So I
And
want to say,
I'm sorry. I just want to jump in.
sure,
And
of course.
again, and thank you, Kathleen, Jennifer, and Vienna, the programs committee, you guys did a fabulous. And the Q&A was fabulous. And as many times as you put the slideshow in, I just thought it was great. Like I said in the beginning, the purpose of the webinars is to really make us be stronger leaders to our respectful units. And, after seeing this, if you didn't think about having a PARP program, if you didn't think about having a literacy a reflections program, I bet you're thinking about it now. I think it's awesome because, again, how can we better support the arts? There's no better way to support the arts than through these programs. And I just want to thank you all for taking the time, for coming. I thank all the leaders that came. You guys were phenomenal. Just taking the time to it's just really, this is what we ask of our PTA volunteers. It was only an hour. It's only 45 minutes, and within that 45 minutes, you guys got to get that information. You also heard the information, you heard the answer to how many arts categories are there in the reflections to choose from. And I know that was covered. Everything that's a special question. So everything that you need was covered. And like I said, if you have not already done so, Vienna was very, very helpful with the question of how do we get a PARP committee started? Who should we use as our resources? Again, Jennifer was spot on. when we're talking about reflections. And Kathleen, you just really supported us overall. And I just want to thank you all. And I just want to, again, thank the PTA for your leadership. And I just want to say, we're going to say good night. If Kathleen, if you have something else to say besides good night, go ahead. You're just going to say that?
Oh, I
Okay.
was just gonna say thank you all for coming. Thank you, Robin, for those very kind and encouraging words. It was a pleasure to be with you this evening. Patrice was here. I'm sorry, I didn't catch her in the beginning. I apologize. Shout out to Patrice, our amazing designated officer. And thank you all for coming. Have a great evening. And good luck with your programs. I hope to hear from you all. I hope to see your school names on our list. Sign up
Yeah.
now. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.